Hello, I am going to make a little Flipgrid video here. This is the instructions for what I would like you to do. Now, I'm not going to do the same problem that you guys are going to do. I'm just going to do, let's see, which one I'm going to do this one, this height versus time. I think this was number 1 from graphing practice number 1. All right, so what I'm going to do before I go to Flipgrid, I'm going to get a Google Doc ready that has all the answers and all the stuff that I need so that I can just do the Flipgrid, that I don't have to be messing around once I get there. So let's see. I'm looking at my graph. I'm just going to check to make sure I've got all the right features here. I've got a title. I've got my equation. I've got my column headings. Those are all filled in, right? I got something here. I didn't forget to do the short name, got my units. All those things are important. And I got my line of best fit on here. Now, the only thing I'm thinking about is on my Google Doc, this is going to be really small. So before I do my screen snip, I'm going to right click on this, do linear fit options, and I'm just going to blow this up. Now, if you are using Graphical Analysis 4, I don't think you're going to have this option to make this bigger. So, you know, whatever. You do the best with what you got. This is Logger Pro that I'm using here. Let's blow this thing up. And the places where you click, it's here to make the column stuff. You're going to click on the little 3 dots in Graphical Analysis. And that's how you change that stuff. And to get the line of best fit, instead of things up here, there's going to be your little graph icon down at the bottom. All right. So I need a screen snip of this now. Let's just adjust the size of that a little bit. All right. So go find my snipping tool. And you remember this is the Control Shift and the little screen button up at the top on your Chromebook if you're doing it that way. And here we go. All right, so now I'm going to close that, minimize that. Here's my blank Google Doc here. So I'm going to go ahead and paste my graph. All right. Now you're going to answer the questions for number 1 on graphing practice 2, all those questions there. Make sure you address all those things. For me here, I'm going to go through what those are for this graph. So let me just pull that up, make sure I'm answering all the right questions that you need to. So draw a best fit graph. We've got that. Explain what is the, it says determine the slope of the line and show your work. We don't need to do that because the computer did that for us. But I do need to say what the slope is and what the y-intercept is. So the slope of this is, in this particular one, now if you're using Logger Pro, one of the nice things about Logger Pro versus Graphical Analysis is it does tell you the units in the slope. It says this number meters over days. If you're using Graphical Analysis 4, you need to put that in yourself. I would like to put this in as a nice looking little formula thing, so I'm going to go to Insert and Equation, and oh, maybe I'm going to undo that because I make the font bigger before I do that. Let's see if this works. Equation. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so then I'm going to go to here, get my fraction. So 0.48 meters. On the bottom, I'm going to put 1. Okay. That is the slope. And the meaning of the slope, I'm going to go back to smaller font here. the meaning is that for each day that passes, the height increases. So I know this is boring. We've done this problem a couple times now. The height increases by 0.48 meters. I'm going to have that there so that I can, when I go into Flipgrid, that'll already be there, and I can just kind of talk through it and explain in the little video what's going on. The y-intercept is, I'm going to call it 1.1, rounded to the nearest tenth. So I'm going to insert, oh, no, not yet. I'm going to blow this up to 18 again. Then I'm going to go to insert my equation. And, oh, I don't need a fraction for this, do I? So I just need 1.1. That's not showing up there. There we go, 1.1 meters. Again, in Logger Pro, it's going to put the units on that for you. And if you're in graphical analysis 4, I think that you need to look at the y-axis and be like, oh yeah, the right units for that would be meters. You need to have units. And the units, if you got the right units, help us understand what the meaning is. So the meaning of that, y-intercept is how much of this you got when there's none of this. So that means at time 0, the height is 1.1. And you could also say that's the starting height. That would be correct too. But you have to say the number. The height is, don't just say the meaning of the y-intercept is the starting height. We want to refer to the actual number, 1.1 meters. The height is 1.1 meters. All right, and then want to put the whole equation in there. And when you do your explanation, if you have the equation, like one way to handle this would be to make the equation, and then you can talk through the equation in your Flipgrid video. I don't think you necessarily need to have the slope and the y-intercept separately up here. You can just talk through the equation, especially if you've got a nice big version of that. So, sorry, I want to do insert an equation. And my equation is going to be, in this one, we have height. You could use h there if you want, for short, is equal to slope. Hey, I've got it right here. So I'm just going to copy that. Times time. Oh, got out of my equation here. Oh, maybe let's insert another one. That'll work. Time plus intercept here. That's a nice looking equation there, nice and big. And then there are a couple other questions here about your use your graph to determine what the starting amount of water in the tank was. So if I was saying what's the starting amount, well, that's 1.1 here. And use your graph to determine when the tank will be empty. If they're saying use your graph, then that's like looking at where the graph is going to cross the axis. Now you could also do it using algebra. If you know when it's going to be empty, that's when the height would be 0. So you set that equal to 0, do a little bit of baby algebra. All right, so that's it. Remember, this is not the problem that you're doing. This is that problem number 1 from graphing practice 1, and you're going to do graphing practice 2. Okay, so to do my Flipgrid, I'm going to now go to the Flipgrid assignment here, and I'm going to click on record a response. And I'm going to click on options, and I'm going to record screen. So you'll be doing like a little screencast there. of just like what I was doing, talking to you, so you'll be doing it in Flipgrid. So you're going to click on record screen and then start screen recording. You got to share your screen. And you're going to go to your Google Doc, and now you can do your Flipgrid. So we're going to talk about, hey, physics, here's my graph. It's a graph of height versus time. And on the vertical axis, I have height measured in meters. Here I have time in days. You can see my line of best fit here. And here's what the computer came up with. So here's my equation. That height is equal to 0.48 meters for every 1 day times time plus 1.1 meters. Now, what the meaning of the slope is that for every 1 day that goes by, the height is going to increase by 0.48 meters. And the meaning of the intercept is that when time is 0, the height is 1.1 meters. And then you can answer the rest of the questions in your Google Doc. And that's it. And you've got your Flipgrid and you are done. Please don't forget to click mark as done up in the corner of that screen when you're done. And that's how we're going to share our work. I hope that works well for you. Let me know if there are any problems with that. And go. And there's my my Flipgrid's going. So next, you can finalize your Flipgrid, and that's it. All right. Edit video. I don't need to edit it. There's my selfie, and go to next. Chris M is my name. The link, you don't need a link. Title, don't need that really. I'm going to submit that. And now I'm done, right? And that is how we do it. Now I just need to figure out how to get the screencastify to stop recording and go back to that. And there we go. Okay, great. Have a great day.